got good news on this. This is for the oil pickup tube. I asked on Summit, hey, do I have to modify the original? And they very clearly stated no. This goes over it. So that's good. I didn't waste 20 bucks. Also, this is several days later, and I still haven't ordered the push rods. I have never spent more time on one aspect of this engine than these push rods. It's driving me insane. And I will say what's making it the most difficult is I'm pretty sure I found out what size I want. I'm pretty sure I want 375s. But the ones I wanted, Brian Tooley, there are probably 4 or 5, if not more, comments saying, these are not 375, they are 16 thousandths off. I'm like, well, like this wasn't complicated enough. Now the ones I want, I finally picked what I want, and now they're not the right size. Having said that, just a few minutes ago, I came back. This just wasn't sitting right with me. And I have a phobia of lifter tick, or God forbid, valve problems. So I came back, I installed all the lifters, greased them up, installed it like it's in there for good. So it probably is in there for good. I haven't torqued these, but I went to every single cylinder again. Well, I didn't do most of this side, but I did 2 here, 2 here. But I came back again and went all 8. I'm more confident now with the push rod checker. You know, I've done it 10 times, so okay. Now I know how to do it, and I trust my numbers. And they were all. One of them was like 703. 70 to 703. That was my lowest number. The highest one was like 711. So they were all within 5 or 6. The bulk. I know the number I just gave you is like they were all mostly within 5. A couple of them were a couple higher. So I'm pretty sure I'm just calling it 7,310 basically. It is 0 lash for the majority, like the average. Well, the average would be like 305. So they're about 305. If I do 75, that gives me 70. If I do 375 push rods, it gives me 70 preload, which is well within the comfort zone. I really actually was leaning towards 50 and still kind of am. But something is concerning me about the temperature of the engine. And after it runs for a few thousand miles, I'm worried about it settling in. And then that 75, which we'll just call it 75 preload, sinks down. Well, if I had 50, it would be beneath my tolerance. That's just my fear. It's probably not founded. But, oh, and the last thing. There's this thing where you put the head on, you know, you're testing the push rod length. You take the lash out. So I installed a factory push rod, which is 7.4. You get it 0 lash, and then you count the revolutions it takes to get it to torque. And you want to be, I believe it's like within 3/4 to 1.5, because that has to do with the length. I think it's like 50 thousandths per turn. And this was at 7.4. It was like 1 3/4. So that tells me, okay, I'm within the range. If I do 25 shorter, if they are 75 and they're not 16 thousandths. I'm so sick of saying thousandths. Anyway, I'm rambling. I really didn't want to get the camera and talk about this, but I needed to, just because it has taken up so much of my time. I didn't want to get it on camera, but I want to kind of like summarize what I've been doing the last day or two. But, well, I was about to say I'm going to order them tonight, but I don't know. I'm going to sleep on it one more night. But more than likely, I'm going to get BTR, Brian Tooley, 80 thousandths wall, 5/16 hardened, 7.375. And one thing this is why I haven't decided, is because They said the same thing about the 7.350s. They said that those were 16 thousandths bigger too. And I'm really thinking, what if I just buy those? Because that would be the best case scenario for me. If I could get 360s, 365, that would be my very comfortable comfort zone. But I hate having to buy things assuming they're wrong just to get the numbers I want. That's what I'm conflicted on. But somewhere between 350 and 375, that's what I'm going to get. So, but what we're doing now is I'm going to play around with this oil pump. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the way that, well, Melling. So the engine guy, I've watched a lot of his videos, and I think I trust his judgment pretty well. Plus, he does it for a living. And you can put the feeler gauges in, which that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Excuse me. But the way Melling actually calls for it is you throw it up here, you hand tighten, the 4 bolts, and then you crank this thing over. You fill the pump with oil so it can get oil in there. You crank this over a few times to let it settle. What it's doing is it's getting centered on this thing. And then you torque it down. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. I can't decide if I'm going to use thread locker. Actually, I asked the question today on Summit. Do you guys recommend thread locker on the ICT billet bolts? So I'm in no hurry. I'd like to get it mounted up because I would like to get the oil pan finished. So I'm going to throw the oil pump on, play with it for a few minutes, and then I'd like to see what's going on with that tube. Because what I'm trying to do is get the whole bottom end done. So on top of that, while I'm down there, I want to check every single one of my rod bolts, 82 pounds. We have double confirmation that's the correct poundage. And I'm going to mark them off with a pin, a white pin. And I'm also going to go by the mains and double check and make sure all those are perfect. So, oh, and the last thing is the windage tray with the 3 washers. I want to make sure that 3 is enough. I have 50, so if I need to do 4 tall, I've got them. But I'd like to get that done. I mean, this engine's about ready to be done. The long block's going to be done. All the other crap I'm going to have to track down, the wiring that I'm dreading, all the little tubes and the accessories and all that. I haven't decided what to do with the accessories. I still don't know if I need rounded coils or square coils. I spent a whole night trying to figure that out so I could get a good deal on some XL. They were some high dollar XL coils that were yellow. They looked pretty cool. And they were on like a sale on Rock Auto, and I was reading everything I could to find out what coils I needed, and I couldn't get a definitive answer, so I missed that train. But I'm not rushing on anything else. I said I wouldn't rush on it, but to save $200 or $300, I'll kind of put a little pep in my step. I'm not lazy. I just don't want to get in a hurry to make mistakes. But I'll hurry if it's going to save me $200 or $300, which it would have. But I'm not sweating it. The right coils will come. Yeah, so basically everything from the oil pump down, that's what we're going to be messing with here. I'll probably wait to hear back before I throw thread locker on it. I'm 90% sure you can. But like I said, I'm not rushing for anything. And I just want to see how it mounts up. I want to see how the gasket mounts up around it. I want to see if there's any clearance problems. And just get this part done, because, I mean, quite frankly, once the oil pump goes on, we can put that timing cover on. But I want to make sure it's done so I don't have to take it off again and do the thread locker. So that's where we're at. That was a long-winded way of catching up, but I did not want to get it all on camera. This is the only day I've ever worked during a work day on the engine, because I was just like, I got to get this done. But yeah, other than torquing these down, those are in there. I cleaned the lifter holes, actually with this right here, and filled them with assembly lube. And I did the same with the lifters. Oh, and I wanted to mess with the lifters too. I wanted to see if I've gotten different information on, like, I thought that the oil was going to drain out of them like overnight, because I had a couple that did that. But watching one of these hundreds of videos, there's a check ball in there that keeps it from leaking out. So that's why some of them were not. I think the only reason some of them had some plunge to it is because they never got filled in the first place. So it looks like the ones that have oil in them are going to keep oil in them, I think. Because I took them out today to, well, it's already moved, to dry them off with oil because I wanted to handle them. And all of them except two were stiff. I could not push the plunger in at all. All right. I'll probably get some footage of the oil pump, but I just want to mess with it for a few minutes by myself. So go on, get out of here. Dude, I am so sick of crap from Summit, man. They specifically told me this specific one would specifically fit. It's impossible. It's absolutely an impossibility. More wasted time and money. Now you tell me how that fits on here without permanently modifying it. Newsflash, it doesn't. It's an impossibility. All right, well, it's in place, but I'm going to wait till we get some more stuff done, because I might have to take it out and mess with this. But I want to make sure I know how to do it. And if it does turn out it's going to permanently stay there, just pop them out, put the thread locker on, pop them back in, and torque them. And I did double check these torques, and they're at 25 pounds. This Melling oil pump masquerading as a Chevy Performance hopefully is not going to let us down. That goes down, the whole dog and pony show goes down. Okie dokie, we're about to wrap this up. Every torque was correct, rods and mains. And what took so long actually was to clean the oil and the lubricant off so that I could paint it with the little paint pen. But if you can see that, that's just a little backup indicator. So if it starts backing out on me, I'll be able to see it. I really hope it doesn't. That would be ungood. So I'm going to throw the windage tray on and just start playing with those washers, see if 3 is going to be enough. Open your ears. No clanking. 3 washers on each stud. Well, I'm going to check it visually, make sure, because I think 40 thousandths is the minimum, but if it's close, I'll just throw an extra washer in there. Washer. Beautiful. That's way more than 40 thousandths. I don't think it was hitting there. I bet it was hitting down here, actually. It's not close enough here. Yeah, it must have been here on the edges. Hold on, let me try to move it. Yep. I saw it. It was close back there. Might be able to zoom in. Nah, I can barely see. Well, here we go. Yeah, it's hitting like right here. Not right here. But it's not hitting at all. I just noticed it's crooked. Factory crooked. That's going to bother my OCD-ness. I like flat lines. The carpenter in me. I'm convulsing. Oh man, it is close. Yeah, it's definitely hitting right here. Well, it's not hitting, but that's where it was, see? But we're clear. All right. It's enough exhilaration for the moment. We might as well check this while we're at it. Actually, that's right. I think I do need to drill this out. One of these, maybe both. Because the ARP studs are thicker diameter. Also, I need to get clay. Okay, both of them. Actually, no. They fit. And I read the instructions on this, the O-ring. With this profile, I will be using the green O-ring. Man, I might have to add some... Yeah, I'll wait until we get some modeling clay or Play-Doh or something, because I need to check that clearance. But if it's close, I might need to take a washer out or put a washer in here to tilt it over or something. Let me show you. So I'm starting back here. That's got to be flat. It's not going to seal up if it's not flat. So whatever I have to do to make it flat. Actually, that's perfect right there. But you can see how if I have to put a washer in there or something, I might have to tilt it up, which I doubt. I think it's going to be fine. Now the worst case scenario, well, it's not the worst. But a bad thing would be is if this was too close to the oil pan, because I don't know how I would lower it. I guess I'd have to bend this, and then it's going to throw everything off. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but it's definitely in the back of my mind. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's a 1/4 inch, 3/8 is what it needs. And, well, there's no way of knowing until we get some Play-Doh or modeling clay. I don't even know where to get modeling clay. I'll let you suffer with me. Oh, great. Now I don't know where I put it. There's this piece of metal. I have no idea where it came from. I just had it in my hands. So I'm not highly organized, but I'm generally organized. And I threw this in with the oil pan stuff in the same box. So I know it had something to do with the oil pan, but I mocked it up earlier. I don't see anywhere where it would go. Oh, I think I do know. It might actually bolt to that. Never mind. Thanks, guys, for the help. One point I wanted to get to earlier that I didn't get around to because I'm stupid. I started to talk about it, but got on a rabbit trail. I'm going to order the Brian Tooley Racing 7.375s, despite all the comments that say they're going to be 14 to 16 thousandths over, because that would put me at 390. Like I was explaining earlier, I did put the 7.4s, the 400s in there. And I got 1 3/4 turn. What's in tolerance, I think, is 1.5. So even if it's 790, 390, even if it's off, if it's too big, it's still within acceptable tolerance, which would put me only 10 thousandths less than I have now, which it still would run. I'm just trying to pick the optimum, and there's too much to go into. You can watch some smart people explain it, but there's like 10 different factors I'm trying to take into consideration. That's why I've been struggling with getting the right one, because I only want to do this right, or I want to do this once and I want to do it right. So I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to order some crank sensor, cam sensor, several things. And most importantly, the push rods. Brian Tooley Racing. 5/16, 80 wall. And it's going to be free shipping because it's over $109. All right. I spent more time researching freaking push rod preload than it's equal to everything else I've researched. That's no exaggeration. So I pulled the trigger. It's Wednesday at 12 noon. I pulled the trigger. I ordered the Brian Tooley Racing 7.350s. The reason being, I want 375s, but on both sizes, 350s, and 375s all throughout the comments. I'm not talking one or two. I'm talking, I even looked again, it's like 7 or 8. Mine came in 15 over. Mine came in 15 over. So by purchasing the 350s, I'm expecting to order, to have delivered 360, 365, which that's close enough. If I got the 375s and it's 14, 15 over, that puts me just basically at factory, like within a few thousands of factory. And I don't want that. So it's Wednesday at noon. They'll be here by Friday. I guarantee it. They'll probably be here Friday. Oh, there was something else I want to talk about. I can't remember what it was, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. This has been a friggin' saga and a half. But they're in the mail. I'm not saying the saga's done. They might not work. We might go fire that thing up and it ticks. It might not run. I have no idea. We won't know until we fire it up. But based on everything I've researched, and I've researched, like I said, I've probably got 50 hours at least. No, more than that. 80 hours reading, watching videos, reading forums, reading manuals. It's been draining. But it's done-ish. And now we can move on. Let me turn my brain on for a sec. Brain off from the push rod so I can reorient to the other stuff that I wanted to talk about real quick. I know what it was. I got an answer back on Summit. I asked a question on the ICT billet oil pump bolts. Do these take thread locker? They said no. So it's up to me now. Do I want to obey them or not? I think it was actually from ICT billet because it was a specific item for ICT billet. Let me go double check that, but I'll probably just follow their instructions. It's very difficult for me to follow instructions when I see so many other videos of people putting thread locker. And not to mention, I specifically bought orange thread locker for that. For the cam sprocket, oil pump, that whole area. That's the only reason I bought orange thread locker. So now I've got an unopened red and an unopened orange thread locker. And they're just like chirping at me. I can hear them talking to me like, use me, you know you want to. So I could still change my mind. I didn't oil them. I didn't put thread locker. I just hand tightened them to about 20 pounds. I think it calls for around 20 pounds. So I'm not worried about stretching it too far. And I found these. I guess I have two sets of these. So that's good to know. So if I screw one up, I've got a backup. I know why. It came with the oil pump and I ordered them separately because I didn't know it came with the oil pump. It's no big deal. It wasn't expensive. There's something else I'm forgetting, but the major thing is the push rods are ordered. I'm a little frustrated because when I woke up this morning, my first thought was, I'm just going to order the comp cams. So the BTR, and as you know, I'm not trying to pinch pennies on this build. I want the right part, no matter how much it costs. The BTR are $120. Oh, that's the last thing. I still had $60 left over on my gift card from, the whole debacle with the specifications. They gave me a $267 card. I spent $200 of it on bolts, which is crazy. Well, what's really crazy is I've spent over $1,000 just on fasteners. But $60 left on that card, so I bought the BTR. They were $120 plus tax and all that, so it was like $125 because I get 5% off veteran discount. So it was $65 out of pocket. So the point being, when I woke up this morning, I thought, man, I'm just going to order those comp cams. Because I had comp cams stuff back in the day. I don't remember what it was, but I know I had it. And they're a really good brand. But they're $195. So I was looking through them. I was planning on buying it. $80 more. And they said the same crap in the comp cams comment section. Talking about they're bigger than spec. I'm like, geez, man, if I'm going to get the wrong spec, I'm going to at least save $80. because I don't doubt the quality of Brian Tooley's equipment. It's just for some reason, they don't measure them right. And it's across the board companies. It's like everybody does it. I don't understand that. So that chapter is closed. It has taken up a lot of my brain, if you can call it brain power, trying to make a decision on so much conflicting information. That's the hard part. There's so much conflicting information. But yeah, and we got answer to the ICT billet bolts. And there's something else, but I'll throw it in the video if it's important. I went ahead and loosened these up a little bit. I filled it with the Lucas, a bunch of assembly lube in there, and I squirted some more 30 weight. Turned it over a couple more times just to double, triple check that it was centered up. And then I did torque them to 18 pounds. And believe it or not, this thing actually popped off at 18 pounds. So I don't know if I got it working by using it, but before at 20 pounds, it would pop off at 14. So I wasn't even planning on using it. But I thought last second, oh, let me adjust it. And it popped off right at 18, surprisingly. And the reason I know is because of that, the digital readout. So unless they're both completely off, which is possible, it felt about 20 though. But what we're doing now, these are Windage tray nuts. Oh, and the other thing is I just left them without thread locker. The rep said they don't use thread locker. I watched 2 or 3 videos. They didn't put thread locker. So we'll see. It does make me uncomfortable. But up at this point, I'm uncomfortable about so many things. It's just going to kind of cancel each other out. And I'll just say, screw it. Fire it up. But 28 pounds for the Windage tray. Oh, and one last thing. I did clean this out even. I've cleaned it out 2 or 3 times, but last night I did like a final where I sprayed brake cleaner in there. There might be a little bit I can brush out. But the billet mount that I bought, basically when this comes out of the factory, it only has one. That's so stupid. So I bought the upgrade for 20 bucks to utilize 2 to hold it down and hold it flat. But it doesn't fit. Well, I was thinking a minute ago, I wonder if, so I have a new bolt. I wonder if I can grind, you know, take a drill bit or something and grind that so that I can put the second bolt in it. But I'm not sure if it'd be more harm than help. See, there's just enough room where I could fit another bolt in there. You know, maybe put a washer on or something. But the more I look at this, it is mounted in 2 other spots, so it's probably going to be okay. I just wasted the money. But I'm going to be doing more LS builds, and maybe we'll get a model where that thing works. Or I'll decide to cut it off. It's $20 issue, and I don't want to alter the factory just for some janky part. Because it's irreversible. So I'm going to torque those down to 28 pounds, and I'm not going to put thread locker on it. So I bought thread locker for nothing. You can use it with the gun, so it will go to good use.
It's not a good thing for America to become majority non-white. That's common sense. Look at LA.
All right, I finally get to use my little inch pound. Hopefully it's on. It calls for 106 inch pounds.
These lifters. These are the buckets. You always want to replace these buckets. These come from GM. And when you get this brand new bucket, you want to make sure that you're drilling a hole using a 3/8 drill bit about 1.5 inches down. So you can see here, we drill this. These are drain back holes. That oil won't just fill up in here. It will actually drain back and get back into the sump. You can imagine that 16 of these holes, drops here, will hold quite a bit of oil and it won't drain back properly.
Now do you see why I'm so frustrated? The internet has so much information, it's too much information. So now I don't know if I'm going to take those out and drill them. Like, that's a legit engine building company, and I had talked about it in another video where I saw somebody talk about it, and that was the one. So I don't know if I'm going to drill those things out. And another thing he did was put blue Loctite on the retaining bolt that holds the tray down. So something else to friggin' argue with myself over. Believe it or not, Dollar General had like several different kinds of clay. Model Magic. I mean, that's legit clay. I was surprised it was $1.50. That's $5 for all three of those. And I only really need one of them, but I got several different kinds in case one didn't work. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is not too close to the oil pan, because we did raise it 3 washers. We'll lower it technically. And we got to make sure, that's why I was watching that guy's video, is it's got to be 1/4 inch. I knew it was 3/8 to 1/4. So I think if it's 3/8, it'll be okay. But we just need to measure it with that clay. And another thing, it's kind of like jumping from part to part, but another reason we're going to use that clay is we're going to test the valve to head piston to valve clearance. Yeah, see, these are the screws or bolts he was. So they're drilling holes in this. But see, the reason I'm hesitant to do that is it already pisses me off they used flimsy little plastic inside this like major engine. And if I drill it, it's going to take that much more structure away from it. And I've literally never heard anybody else say, there might have been one other video, but that could have been the only video. The point is, I've seen a lot of videos, and that's the only one that I can remember specifically. They drilled them out. And his argument was, you know, they fill it with oil. I mean, that is probably like an extra quart or 2. So I get the reasoning. I'm sure he's right. But I don't know. I don't see it in the manual. I don't see it anywhere else. And I'm very hesitant. So moving on to heads again. I took all these out. Look how dirty they are. So I'm debating on whether to flip this and spray it with brake cleaner and let it drain out. I just don't want to get brake cleaner all in this. Now that it's finally, you know, it's basically final. The problem is I hit that 2 or 3 times. I drilled it and sprayed it out. I don't know where it must have been caked in there so much that, well, it wasn't, because I can hand screw the stuff in. I don't know. It's confusing. But I don't feel right putting these brand new bolts or studs into rust, because rust is the enemy. So I'm debating on whether to, well, several things. Do I want to clean it out again? Like, do I want to flip it and try to spray brake cleaner up in there so it drains out without getting it all over everything? Or do I want to lubricate it to, I don't know, keep it from the rust permeating those studs? I'm not sure. So we've got a few things here to get done. I don't know which one I want to do first. I'm just, in that same video, they put Loctite on these too. I have changed my mind like 15 times. But I have in writing from, it was either Summit or ICT Billet, saying that they just put them in straight. But I'm very, very conflicted. I really want to put Loctite on them. But, all right. Oh, and lastly, I'm going to figure out how to do this without breaking the aluminum. Putting that seal in there. Oh yeah, that needs to be replaced. That's the front timing cover. But, all right, that's where we're at. Here is the factory oil pan gasket, which I guarantee would work if I threw it on there. But here is the new one, the replacement. I went ahead and cleaned this up because when we measure this oil pan, I want to have this in place. And they both measure at 0.1, so they're identical. Probably from the same plant, to be honest. Oh boy, that's pretty smashed. Man, I don't think that's... Well, that might be close to 3/8. Not 3/8. Quite frankly, that's a little bit more smashed than I expected it to be. Oh man, we're good. We're good. I've mashed it in a little bit, so it's bigger than this, and that's it. Almost a quarter right there. I'm going to check it again with the other kind of clay. Okay. I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to stack it up again. Since I've already got it. I've already got it out. I want to shape it a little bit different. I'm surprised it stuck to the oil pan so much. We're comfortably at 20 thousandths, a fifth of an inch. Yeah. Call it 0.22 because you can see I dug in a little bit. Yeah, that's... I would like it a little bit bigger, but I think that's going to be sufficient. I'm definitely going to double check before we fire this thing up. I'm getting these bolts for the oil pan sorted out, and I found the O-ring for the pickup tube that was in there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this motor just to play it safe. All right, well, I was reading through these manuals. I'm just not completely comfortable with the oil pickup tube and all that. I was worried about the clearance of the bolts, the rod bolts, and the clearance of this. So I measured again with the clay. According to the manual, it's 1/4 to 3/8, which I already knew. And this is right at the limit. So it's on the lower limit of what I'm most comfortable with. But I think with my application, it's going to be sufficient because you're at the highest risk of it not sucking up oil with higher RPMs. Well, this is not going to be a high RPM engine. So yeah, the risk, I guess, is there theoretically. But I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to make a judgment call. But another thing that just wigged me out that I just noticed for some reason, there is no oil pan or dipstick. I was thinking this was a dipstick for some reason. So I cleaned it out real well. Well, it doesn't attach to the oil pan at all. I do not have an a dipstick. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm not real happy about that. I haven't installed it yet because I don't want to break it, but it's an oil level cinder. It looks like a float on a toilet kind of. But my Suburban is not set up for that. So I don't know if I just wasted all that money. Speaking of wasting money, 4 sensors I bought last night. Cam, crank, oil pressure sending, and knock sensors. It was like $210 just for 4 friggin' sensors. And that's on Rock Auto. Now, granted, they weren't the cheapest I could find. They were OEM or better. But that is a lot of money for some sensors, one of which I probably can't even use. This is the oil level sensor. Screws into the side, and that little thing floats. Man, so I'm going to have to figure something out here. I don't know what I'm going to do about the oil pan. I guess possibly I would have to buy an oil pan that had a dipstick. I really don't want to have to do that. But if there's a way of... see, that's the problem. I have a 96. And when you have the 2005, like the Yukon, it has something on there, like a digital readout, you know, because my car has that. It doesn't have a dipstick. You have to hit a button and it measures it and it says add a quart or it's okay. Well, the Suburban isn't set up for that. And this makes me a little uncomfortable. So, oh, and one last thing. The reason I popped this off is because I was reading that manual about the clearance and all that. And it said you can use 2 or 3 washers. I put 3 because that's what the video said to do. And I do have clearance. But the reason I'm torn is because I'm so borderline here. I wonder if I could get away with just 2 washers and then give me that extra little, I don't know, whatever, 1/8 of an inch or something. You know, whatever one washer is. It's probably not a complete 1/8 of an inch, but so it's something else to stir around in my head and worry about. But that's where we're at right now. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. What I'm trying to do right now is I'd really like to get the bottom end sealed up. When I mean the bottom end, that is including the back plate and the front plate and oil pan. They all 3, actually all 4, have to be together at perfect angles. So they're perfectly flush. And you have to RTV the corners, I'm pretty sure. At least maybe it's all the corners. You just have to RTV seal it. So I'm really hesitant to do that because I'm not sure if we're done down here. And I really don't want to RTV it, close it off, get it perfect, and then drop a bolt down in there or something and have to take it off again. So I'll probably just seal it up temporarily. You know, this is the factory seal that was on there, gasket. And just leave it, you know, with 4 bolts in it. And then once we're done with the heads, we're done with the intake, then we're like, okay, let's do a final seal up. That's more than likely when I'll do the front and main seal, front and rear main seal, and the RTV. So I'm not sure where we're going to go from here, but push rods are in the mail, which means we can assemble the heads. And I'm really nervous about that. I'm so worried I'm going to find some new information that's going to undo whatever I feel like I know now. So I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. I'm just being overly paranoid, but I'd rather be overly paranoid than just flippant. So I'm gonna keep reading and see what I'm comfortable doing next. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you this bull crap. Look at that. This is AC Delco, the company that got bailed out with public tax money to save American jobs. And look at this bull crap. Made in China. That is garbage, man. That is absolute trash. There's one more thing. Reading through that manual, they actually call for thread locker on this retention bolt for the oil pickup tube. So I'm 99% sure going to do that. And since I'm pulling that out, I think I'm going to pull all these off. I'm going to pull the windage tray, and I'm going to go down from three washer spacers to 2, just out of curiosity, because these are not thread lockered or anything. I mean, yeah, it sucks, I already marked them, but we're talking long-term usage here. I want this engine to live. And it says 1/4 inch to 3/8 very clearly in plain English. I am at the best, I'm at 1/4 inch. At the worst, it's like 0.2, so like a 1/5. So I think I'm going to give that a shot. The only concern I have is if I do take it down to 2 washers, and it does have clearance, the engine's cold, and it's not at RPMs. So even if I clear it now, when the engine's hot and or at higher RPMs, it might not have clearance. And maybe I can take a hammer and maybe I can bend them out. But this is, I think it, at the end of the day, would work. But since we're already down here and it's no consequence to try 2 washers instead of 3. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and Loctite that. So, great. I finally get to use my Loctite. I'm going to see if I can maybe zoom in and show you how close it is. I can't imagine it being closer. I think this is as close as it gets. And I can see, well, since I'm an expert with feeler gauges, that's it. The minimum is like 40 thousandths. That's 40 thousandths at least. And I cannot imagine this thing stretching more than 40 thousandths. That's some strong steel. And the worst case scenario, if it does hit, it's going to scare the crap out of me. But I think it's going to be okay. Like, this is a softer metal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want it to hit it. But I don't think it would be catastrophic failure. So I hope I can... Right there. All right. I took 2 off. It's not hitting. Man, I wish I was working on something else. Let's put it that way. Good news. I thought, well, what is this gap here? I looked a little closer. Boom, baby. That's my dipstick. That has got to be my dipstick. So since I'm here, I'm going to clean it out. I don't want that paint in there. Cool. Celebrate that. I'm going to sit here and think about this for a little bit because I have clearance. I checked all 4 pairs of rods. It's at least 0.50, 0.050. I think we're going to be okay. Orange thread locker. I know we've all been looking forward to this. So you know a lot is going on. Whoa, maybe not that much. Okay, that's more than enough. This is orange. It's stronger than blue. Not as high temp as red. 300 degrees. I hope this engine doesn't get to 300 degrees. Oh my gosh. That's why I'm worried about, hold on. That's why I'm worried about sealing up the lower end. Oh, you didn't see it. I dropped the bolt down in there. Good news. I'm not sure if I was recording, but I just put orange thread locker on and dropped the bolt right here next to the crank. I was able to retrieve it, but like I said, that's one of the reasons I don't want to completely seal this thing off right now, because I'm sure I'm going to drop something in there at one point. But I torqued this. It's the oil pickup tube. 106 inch-pounds. And the mark is at the same place. So it works out perfectly. All right, let's see what the revised... Oh no, that was on. Let's see what the revised size is. Hold on, I gotta stand up here. Yeah, that's 0.3, 0.28, 0.256. So there's no point on here that's less than a 1/4 inch. Yes, it would be devastating if this thing started knocking. You know, pop, 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 pop. But it could be fixed. If I didn't have oil pressure, or if it was unable to get oil, that would destroy the entire engine. We have clearance right now. There's no clanking. I visualized every single one. And they're at least 40 thousandths away, which that's like on the engine itself, the complete engine. That's like the rule of thumb is nothing closer than 40 thousandths. Well, I'm pretty sure that's over 60 or 70 thousandths. I'm just nervous about getting higher RPMs and getting it hot. So I torqued these down. I'm going to I didn't want to mark them until I was sure we were done. But I'm going to remark these. And a lot of them are pretty close. And I didn't even keep the bolts. Or the nuts with the... Anyway. I think it was a wise decision. We have to prioritize oil pressure. And I think that's the best of both worlds. We have 2 instead of 3 spacers. And now we have way more comfort with the oil pickup tube distance to the bottom of the oil pan. Look what those dipshits did to my dipstick. They broke it pulling it out. 100% chance. Man, I'm pissed. Not just because of this. Because of like 15 different things. I was pricing coils last night and it's like $300 bare minimum. Each side of the trays or whatever you connect them to are like $104 each for the cheapest. The pedal, it's got something called like a throttle actuator or something. It's another $200 or $300. Like there's $1,000 at bare minimum of parts that were supposed to come with this engine that did not and or were broken. But I'm not going to let it put me in a foul mood, but I'm pissed. I mean, it's just a dipstick, but dadgum, man, half this engine is not here or broken. I forgot something. I was going to start poking around and seeing how to get these set for the valve covers. They look difficult if you ask me. But I looked in the package and there were only 7. I thought, oh man, I must have opened the package and tried to work with it already. I looked everywhere. There's not a hole in this bag. I did not open it. All that to say, I have always bragged about Rock Auto. That's probably the #1 company I've ever done business with. I have never had an issue with them. I always get the right part. It's astounding how good they are. And I was nervous because I'm like, oh great, now I'm going to have to see their customer service and see if they're still going to be one of my favorite companies. They were remarkably specific on asking me the questions of the part. And apparently they're going to just send it to me. I only need one, but I have a feeling they're going to send the whole bag. Just the way they were questioning it. But I tried to make it very clear. It's just literally one of these daggum things. It's probably like 25 cents. And I placed a big order. So hopefully somebody realizes it and they throw it in there. Because I would hate for them to have to spend $5 to ship it. Send me a $10 bag. Because the bag itself, I know because I had to track down the part number. Well, I tracked down the part number. But there are 3 of them. So I had to figure out which one was in their system. And it was like $10 for that bag. So I hope they don't lose $15. But I have to give a shout out to Rock Auto. That was friggin' awesome. They were very specific. They didn't challenge me on it. It's a bunch of questions you have to ask. And it's very specific. It's like they know what they're doing. So assuming I get my part, they have done a fantastic job with customer service. Shout out to Rock Auto. I'm sitting here reading, getting my mind ready for the heads. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And I'm trying to confirm, do we need to drill holes in these lifter trays? I don't think I'm going to. I haven't seen it anywhere else except for that company. I'm sure it will be okay. But when I say I'm trying to do this by the book, well, those are the books. So, to an extent. If it argues with ARP, I side with ARP. Which brings me to why I grabbed this camera. I just realized possibly a vital mistake that I'm glad I'm catching now. When I torqued the windage tray bolt nuts down on the studs, I did not lubricate them. And part of ARP's deal is you lubricate it because it gives a stronger torque. So I don't have Loctite on it, which they don't call for, and I don't have lube. So one way or another, it's wrong. So I need to decide, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to lube it. But I don't really want to put thread locker on them. Or I do, but I don't at the same time. So I'm going to sit here and argue with myself for about 3 hours, and then I'll decide what to do. But I'm pretty sure I'm just going to lube them up and torque them, because that could be a problem. That could loosen up and rattle. All right. They're lubed up, torqued down to 28 pounds. The oil pan's on there temporarily. We're getting ready for the heads. So I'm going to pull these trays out, give the camshaft and the lifters one last, this is for good, stuff a bunch of, whatever it's called, assembly lube, dadgummit. Just stuff a bunch of assembly lube and get them mounted permanently. And then we're going to torque these. All right. If you have been paying attention, you can tell that I don't think through my videos. I don't plan. I just kind of grab the camera and video what's going on. And I just came to a conclusion. I think I'm going to stop this video here, because the next thing that's going on is the heads. What I did, well, the last thing I did, I took all of these lifters and trays out. I completely coated them again with the high pressure lube. Extreme pressure, excuse me. Reinstalled them. I orange thread locked those and torqued them to 106 inch-pounds. So those are in there permanently. To permanently mount this, the rear, the front, and the oil pan, they all need to be done at the same time, because I did confirm they need to be RTV sealed in the corners. So that's going to be probably one of the last things I do. I might even do it when it's on the cherry picker, about to go in the car. Who knows? The point is, we're not messing with that anymore. We tightened up the bottom end, tied up loose ends there. We addressed the clearance issue, and we boosted at least, I think it was 60 thousandths. I measured one of those washers. It was like 60 thousandths more clearance now for the oil pickup tube off the bottom of the oil pan. So I'm very comfortable with that aspect of it. Time will tell if the rod bolts are going to hit the windage tray at high RPMs or when the engine's hot. But I probably won't do a lot of high RPM stuff. Anyway, for the 10th, no, probably 30th time, I wiped out the bores, re-oiled them, kept the deck clean, wiped the deck clean, because it does attract dust, like, immediately. All that to say, I'm pretty sure we're going to move to the heads now. I did take where did I put it now? Oh, I did take this head gasket out. They're like almost $100, so I've been keeping them in their package as long as possible. And they are a very critical part of the engine. Probably, like, if something's going to go, it's going to be the head gasket. So, all the things that have to do with the head, that's going to be in a whole new video. I don't even remember everything we did in this video, so I don't know what I'm going to call it. But if you're already seeing this, then you already saw the title, so I'm literally wasting my time telling you that. Yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. It's a bunch of hodgepodge of stuff that needed to be done. It's just not like one focus point. So I'll figure something out when I go through the footage.